Welcome to the Typography Workshop, Kennington, Lambeth. Do come in. This building is very peculiar because years ago it used to be an ale house, which was a kind of pub, and that was in about 1840. Since then it's been many things, but now it is my studio and my printing workshop. This is the downstairs studio. Enter. On the walls you can see various works which I've done in the past, and this is a drawing of my late wife, Celia Stothard, and together Celia and I established this studio workshop here in 1996, and she died in 2010. This is my bench, which is very tidy. And my top bench, which is also tidy, and a new telephone, which I'm just getting used to working. And on the workbench here, we have some work laid out, which I've done for English Heritage over the last couple of years. This was in fact the cover for the Members Handbook, and it was adapted for things like this, which is the bookmark. And this shows some of the stages which some of the work gets made through. For example, this was done for their magazine, and it's on the article on belief. But to get to this stage here, one has to do various other things, like you begin with a pencil sketch, and sizes of type are worked out, and then very rough layouts are done like this. So it goes through many stages before, put that down somewhere, before it actually gets finalised. Adjacent to this main studio room, which is very bright and lovely light, we have the type collection, which is in this little side annex, which leads into the workshop. All these cabinets came from a type collection which we discovered in the little village of Rington in Somerset. It was a poster printer closing down after years and years of work. A very large poster printer called Organs and J.M. Organ, and he printed posters for theatres and cinemas throughout Britain. And this is part of the collection which he had, which we had to buy. We couldn't just buy one or two things, we had to buy everything. I use this for laying on prints. And again here. These are all complete fonts, and well used, as you can see, but always still in good use. Nothing wrong with them. All this type was used to do the English Heritage work with. All different sizes, different faces, and variations on the theme of condensed up to wider letters. More decorative like fonts like this. And there's hundreds of fonts. More type cases. And this is a different font. This is Egyptian. Slab serif. And they're made out of very hard wood that's been cut so it can be kerned. Like, you could put one letter like that.
How old are these typefaces?
Some of the very early ones must have been made in the 1800s, and these are a bit more recent. And there's little tiny ones like this. These are very ancient, very early Victorian, very worn, but I still use it. And this is a very rare one because it's got the lowercase letters as well as the capitals, which is unusual for poster type. So there's just yards and yards of letters, no lowercase there. And the fonts which are not contained in type cases like this are held on these shelves at the top because they're so huge. These types are so big. It's a numeral 1. Very hard wood. And I've used them many times. 0. That, by the way, is the old street sign. And these are bigger. These are very old. And you can see on this one, these are hand cut. You see the chisel marks inside the counter of the D. So when they get very large, they get handmade. And all these came from Rington, all different sizes, different condensed to extra condensed, and numeral 2, that's a Victorian letter, that. All very ancient stuff. But the funny thing is, the letterpress printing, letterpress block printing like this is in fact, if you like, the ultimate recycling process. Because nothing gets wasted, nothing gets discarded, and it's forever being reused. It has been for hundreds of years.
How do you find the type you want to use?
The type is all catalogued in these books. Each frame is numbered, and each case is numbered, and that's how many characters there are in the case. And this is what it looks like. There's a visual reference for it. So frame 4, case 6, size 10, line. It is called Chatsworth Condensed, and that's what it looks like. And that's a sample of the size and the style of the design. And they're all like that. Each cabinet has its own catalogue. So rather than going through pulling out cases all the time, I can go to these books. This is the catalogue for this case, this cabinet here, and find exactly what I want. The size and the typeface. So when we discovered this collection, Celia and I, we catalogued it all and cleaned it all down on site at the old printers in Somerset, little village it was. And it took us like a year and a half to log it, clean it, and transport it up to London and reinstall it in the workshop here. And that was in 1996, 97. And I've been using it ever since. This is a different collection. This is the Herbert Spencer collection. Not Rington, but it's in the same room. But I keep the collection separate. This is very Victorian. These fonts are sort of, they're so hideous in a way, but they're sort of, everything's useful. I mean, I should think it's very early Victorian. It's a sort of Roman serifed, ancient Roman serifed letter. You've got these sort of triangular serifs on the letters, you can see that. And it all gets used at some point or another. Sometimes you want just one character or one word.
Sometimes they wait years to be used.
Sometimes they haven't been used for years, but they will do one day, This is called Gloucester, this typeface, and lowercase as well. Yeah, a different serif shape on that. But all good poster type. These are the original catalogues from Stevenson Blake, who made this type originally. That's 1930, look, that catalogue there. So these came with the collection, all the catalogues of the original type. You now follow me through into the actual printing workshop. And this is exactly how we found it in terms of the roof and the light. And everything fit in perfectly. All the randoms, the types, the leads, the furniture. This is the press which I use, and the benches are all put in, and more Rington stuff at the back. And it's a perfect workshop. The light's tremendous. When it rains in here, it's absolutely thunderous. You can't hear yourself speak. On the wall, these are the rollers I use. I'll show you in a minute. Everything is hand done, and the inks which I've used. We also there's a bit of ink left over, so nothing gets wasted in that department either. And on the wall is one or two of my heroes, and odd proofs and things I want to keep looking at. There's a picture there of Juliet Greco, big fan of Juliet Greco. And indeed, Angela Lawson, also the recipes. So we go from the wood type, the big poster type, down to small metal type. When it gets to a size like this, it was cast in metal, lead, mainly like it's alloy, a mixture of lead and tin and antimony. It's very soft, but it's kind of very durable. And this is put into a case, like the capitals are there and the lowercase are there. And this is very ancient type. You see, it's been very worn. Again, that's Victorian metal type. I'll still use it from time to time. And all the paraphernalia that comes with letterpress stuff. Odd fonts, odd blocks, odd sorts. Inks on there. Some of the inks I've got. Comes in these kilo tins. 1 kilogram. Solid, but it's underneath it's good ink. And I've had some of these inks for years. Some of them are very new, I haven't opened them yet. This is another little press I've got here. I'm doing a job here, which another print I'm working on. This is another press which we use from time to time. It's a very simple process. You ink it up and you apply pressure. Let's look at this. This is a drawing one of my students did of the workshop. You see that? Incredible. I think she's done it off a phone and then on the computer somehow. I don't know if she's done it, but she's done it. It's very nice. These are some of the leftover bits and pieces which are waiting to go back into the cases. More Winton type. Also these three little blocks and borders. Again, it's all the same age, you know, it's 1850s, whatever. And it all gets used one way and another. This is Gill Sans condensed. Gill condensed. Gill medium. Beautiful typeface. And therefore we've done a kind of circular tour of the ground floor. That's where we started. So, as I said, it's a very odd building, and it was on the market a long time because nobody knew what to do with it. It was either living or working or anything else, but we've now got live, work status. So it's kind of settled now and regularised. We've just done some work, did a workshop in Pasadena in California last year, and there was a very good woman, a very good designer, a nun actually, called Sister Carita Kent, an incredible artist. And she wrote these rules about what you should do. And I've printed them out there. And number 7 rule is, the only rule is work. That's the English Heritage bag. And down here, you've got the cabinet of curiosities for little children, 3 or 4 years old, who will come by with their mothers and look at all these strange objects in the window. And they're always intrigued by what they see. I've got dead petrified frogs, Eiffel Tower, Hans, the London bus, little things for kids to look at, toys, oddments, things that we've collected over the years, Celia and I, and we just put them in the window at that level. Otherwise, the blinds are always kept down because people can not see in. And the hanging system, which you can see, of these rails going down the edge of the ceiling, that was devised by Celia because she was a very good designer, a very good woman. The work on the wall is something I've just done in the last couple of years. So the system of hanging is off these chains and the hooks, and it's always worked very well, very strong. We shall now go upstairs and see where we are. This is a painting of the tube station, a tube map, one of my friends in the 60s. Very, very good piece of work. One of my treasured possessions, that. And the work on the walls is done by friends and things we've bought over the years, part of the collection. This is a print by Celia. It's a silk screen by Celia she did about 25 years ago. And more books, reference books. And you can't forget another level. And this is takes us into the archive upstairs on the top floor. This is the archive room and the top studio. And it's a bit messy at the moment because the archive has been sorted out. It's all housed in these black plant chests and in these grey boxes over here. As you can see, they're all numbered and all referenced onto the computer. So a bit like the type, everything has a place and it's classified according to the years and the size and the client and so on. So one can locate things quite easily when one needs to pull things out. On the walls we've got some of the work I've done. This one over here was done for the TfL, the Transport for London, to commemorate the 100 years of the tube alphabet, which was designed by Edward Johnston in 1916. So they did this set of posters for in 2016. That's the poster I did for the Globe Theatre on Hamlet, the Russian Revolution, Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera. This is Benjamin Britten's North Sea and all the titles, all the music he wrote. That's one print which was done for the Guardian mural. This is a print I did of Dylan Thomas's Undermilk Wood, and so on. It goes on and on. There's a cabinet on here which I designed, which should be on the floor, but it's on there for some reason. And so we go on.
It's really raining.
Right, when the job's finished, I'll just take all newspapers and lay these on top like this to just take the ink off before I clean it with a cloth. Because there's a lot of ink on there left on, and you get interesting combinations of text and photographs typed on top. And sometimes people, if they really are interesting, but normally they just get thrown away. And this is where I get my curves comes into it. Because the inks are oil based, so I clean them with white spirit. Like so. Because all the type goes back clean for reuse on the next job, whatever that might be. So as you can see, that the type gets used over and over again, and it never really wears out. It gets rounded corners, but the image stays constant. And when the job is finished completely, it gets unlocked and then put back into the case and back into the collection.